Hi, Bob McGill, back again. Welcome to the third video in the Four Steps Closer series. Um, the first two videos we went over were guarding our thoughts, controlling what goes in our eyes, what goes in our ears, what rattles around in our brain, because the thoughts that we think over and over and over again form the beliefs, and our beliefs are what's down inside of us. The things that automatically pop up when we start talking about something. Something happens, the first emotional response, emotional thought that we get, that is an indicator of what we believe. And we talked about positive and negative beliefs and how they can affect us in our life. And the third step in this series is, I call it walking in faith or acting in faith, if you like that better. Um, I'd also like to say, don't walk in fear, and we'll get into that. But our beliefs, what we believe, affects the way we act, and that's what I'm trying to get here. Our walk in life, our how we act in life, is a direct result of what we believe. And um, the past lesson was judge our beliefs, and they had the scales. Well, the balance of our beliefs forms our faith. Positive beliefs create a faith. Negative beliefs create fear. And I want to take a moment here. A lot of people think the opposite of faith is doubt. No, the opposite of faith is fear. There's a series of, what level you believe. Like fear prevents you from acting, prevents you from doing anything. Faith, well, if you have faith, when you believe you can, you just do it. If you think you can, you may do it with a little hesitation. If you have no thoughts one way or the other, well, you're not even going to take an action. If you have doubt, you might take an action, you might do something, but you don't really think it's going to work. But if you have fear, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to do it because you're afraid. So there's like a spectrum here. So the opposite of fear, or the opposite of faith, is fear. And what do I, what when we are applying this to our life, faith is belief in action. By the same token, fear is belief in action. What does that mean? Well, like I just said, if you have faith in something, it causes you to act a certain way. It'll make you take chances you might not have taken. Whereas if you're filled with fear, doubt, uncertainty, you might not even think about doing it, or if you think about doing it, it just fills you with dread. Um, Funny, a lot of people list fear of public speaking as their greatest fear in life, and that's because they don't. And I'm going to be honest, they don't think they can. That's their belief. They don't believe they can get up in front of a group of people and talk. And I'll be honest, I used to feel that way until I just started doing it. Um, and just personal example, in my high school years, I was in part of the debate club, um, and it was an elective class. I think I took it because I was afraid to be in front of people. First time I ever got in front of a group of people at church, I vomited. I was so filled with fear. As soon as it came to do my part, I just threw up. I was just petrified of being in front of people. And my belief after that was, I can't be in front of people. And I my first time in doing a speech in the speech slash debate class, I stuttered for 30 seconds until the teacher said, "Just sit down." Okay, we'll go over that. But what he did was he taught us how to speak in front of people, and changed my belief so that then I was able to be a teacher later on in life. So faith is our belief in action. What we believe we can do or what we believe we can't do, we're right. And what is faith? Okay, we'll talk about faith or fear, but if we have faith, it's the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. That's Hebrews 11:1. What does that mean? Um, the assurance of things hoped for. If you have faith, you just know you can do it. Yet you're assured that the thing that you're hoping for is going to be accomplished. And that's how a lot of athletes, they talk about this a lot too. They believe they can do it, and then they put it in action. They act on that. The conviction of things not seen. We're convicted. We're convinced that even though it hasn't happened yet, it's going to happen, and that's faith. Here's an example where Jesus says, they tried to cast out an evil spirit from a person, and they couldn't do it. And they asked him. He came in. He said, "Hey, just leave, be gone," and it did. And later on, they asked him, "Why couldn't we do it?" And he said to them, "Because of your meager faith. For truly I say to you, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you'll say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it'll move, and nothing will be impossible for you." So if we have faith, even if it's just a little bit of faith, that's the important thing. Have faith. Walk in faith. Have that belief. And let's talk about some examples. Oh, here it is. Fear is the opposite of faith. So, in this example that Jesus gave, meager faith. They didn't have enough faith. Fear is the opposite of faith. Fear was what's going to keep you rooted in place, not being able to change. Just imagine if some of these people that got healed in the stories of the Bible, that came to Jesus and said, "If you would only do this, or if you'd only do that, I could be healed." And that was their faith. And Jesus said, "All right, you're done. Good. Go." Fear would be staying home. "Oh, Jesus, he couldn't heal me. I'm not good enough. I'm a sinner." That would be fear. The other example is, I'm jumping around here a lot, but I hope I'm giving you a variety of examples to think about different areas of life. As the public speaking thing. I'm not good enough to get up in front of a group of people. Why would they listen to me? That's a belief, and that causes you to act in fear. I'm scared to get up in a group of people because they're not going to believe me. Okay, so instead of doing an action, fear keeps you from doing that action. And our negative beliefs can really hold us back in our faith. And that's why we had to judge those. That's why I wanted you to take the time to look through what you believe and how it makes you feel. And based on that, you can start to see how it affects our life. So once you stop hanging around negative people, start thinking positive thoughts, your beliefs start changing. You start feeling good. You start acting better. You start maybe smiling more. You'll notice the blessings in your life. But those negative beliefs will hold us back. Here's a very good example. A lot of people say Jesus is the only one who can walk on water. That's not true. Peter walked on the water. They were out on the middle of the lake, and in Matthew, Peter says, "Jesus, if that's really you, tell me to come out to you." And Jesus said, "Come." And it says, Peter began to walk on the water. Okay, so he was walking on the water. But then what happened? He took his eyes off Jesus, and his negative belief overweighed the faith, the thing that he was actually doing. He was actually walking in faith. He was doing the thing. And then he looked around and he says, "I can't believe I'm doing this." Boom, there it is. Your negative belief outweighed the thing that you were actually doing. He was actually doing it until his negative belief came in and he fell in the water. Okay, so that's a perfect example of our faith is, in action. Jesus, Peter said, "Jesus, if it's you, tell me and I'll come out to you." And you say, "Come on." So Peter acted. So that's why I say faith is our belief in action. And then he looked around, and that negative belief says that, "I can't do this." And he fell down. Another example. People in Jesus' hometown did not believe, and they had little faith, so Jesus could hardly do anything there. And it says he was amazed at their lack of faith, their lack of belief. So because they thought they knew him. They had a certain belief, and because of that belief, they could not accept. They couldn't. They couldn't take part in his healing ministry. That he was there to heal, to restore, to spread the good news. So you know, they a lot of times people in our past, friends, family, they can be holding us back. And fortunately, Jesus knew who he was internally, so he did his self-worth, his belief, his faith didn't come from friends and family, where his hometown where he grew up. He knew who he was. He knew what he was about, but the people there didn't believe, and so much the shame. They missed out on a good thing. When we act in faith, so those are negative examples of not believing, not being able to participate. I mean, and honestly, Christianity, Jesus is the Son of God. Imagine having the physical manifestation of God in your presence and you don't believe, and that belief cuts you off from the faith. You can't participate. But when we act in faith, miracles happen. Now, this is a great story here. Matthew 8:5-13, with the Roman centurion. He came, he says, somebody's sick in my house. Can you heal them? And he said, yeah, sure, let's go. And the centurion said, no, I'm a man who's accustomed to authority, and I know you have authority. You just say the word, and he'll be healed. And Jesus was amazed at his faith. See, the centurion acted. He said, no, you don't even have to come. You just say it, and I will trust in you. So he acted. He did something. He went to God, he went to Jesus, and he said, I trust you. If you would just say it, I believe it'll be done. And it was. And Jesus was amazed at his faith. So the centurion acted in faith, and a miracle happened. Jesus didn't even have to go and lay hands or anything. All he had to do was say, return home, your servant's well. Another story is Matthew 9:27-29. Some blind men came and said, Jesus, heal me. I want to see. And Jesus said, do you believe I can do this? I said, yes. He said, okay, well, according to your faith, be it unto you. And their sight was restored. So, it's interesting. A lot of times, Jesus would ask them, do you believe I can do this? Or he would say, go in faith. Your faith has made you whole. What he's saying is their belief, their action together was their faith, and it made a miracle happen in their life. Those are all good examples of faith. In our personal lives, how do we maintain our faith? How do we build up a level of, how do we act in faith? Now, remember, we're in the habit at this point, hopefully, of guarding our thoughts. We're trying to guard our thoughts. We've changed out some of the negative beliefs for positive beliefs. And now, how do we implement those beliefs into our day-to-day life? How do we maintain our faith? How do we act? How do we walk in faith? So we practice acting in faith despite the circumstances. So what we're going to need to do is not rely on what we see. We walk by faith, not by sight, but what can be. So remember that Hebrews 11:1, faith is the hope of is the assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. We don't see it yet, but we know it's coming. All right. Think of an acorn. All right. If an acorn has a forest in it. Okay, this is just an example. Not immediately. If you plant an acorn, you're not going to get just one tree. Well, you'll get one tree from an acorn, but you're not going to get back one acorn. You're going to get millions of acorns. And each one of those acorns is going to give a tree and millions of acorns. So we walk by faith, not by sight. We can't see the forest in the acorn. We may not see the blessing right now, but we act as though we are blessed, and we know that God will bless us. And also, it says faith without works is dead. So we need to walk by faith, but we need to do it. We need to do the thing. Some people, uh, here's one, giving a tithe. I know it's a big topic for some people, is giving 10% of my money to a church. Yeah. To give, to receive, you need to give. And that is an act. It is an act of faith saying, hey, I could use this 10% for something else, but I'm going to give it to a local organization that helps people. Okay? That's doing something with that belief. So I believe that God will bless me. I believe that God is the source of all good things. As an act of faith, I'm going to do what he says and give 10%, a tithe, to my church. So that is the action. That is the belief, and now we're doing the action. So we need to practice acting in faith despite whatever circumstances may be around us, because remember, this is a momentum thing. We changed our thoughts, we judged our beliefs, now we're acting in faith, and it's slowly going to get better. It will, I promise. Constantly reaffirm our beliefs. Let's see. Oh, I've got that a little off the screen, but faith comes from hearing, and hearing through the word of Christ. So how do we maintain it? This goes back to guarding our thoughts. So we need to constantly listen to those uplifting things. We need to make sure our beliefs are in line with God's beliefs, positive, hopeful things. So we want to fill our minds. We want to study. We want to put what's in our eyes and our ears. We want these things to reinforce those beliefs that make it easier for us to act on our beliefs. And another one, pray and stay close with God. And Jesus said this: ask whatever you ask in prayer, you will receive if you have faith. So again, acting on our beliefs is an example, is what our faith can be. So you act like it is, and you will receive it. Some people think, well, I'll believe it when I get it. No, you'll get it when you believe it, and when you act like you deserve it. So hopefully this has been some good advice here. That'll be for the next lesson. Hopefully I've helped you understand some things and gotten some points across, and that you've taken the time to start guarding your thoughts. You've taken the time to start judging your beliefs, and hopefully these examples and a little bit of suggestion here, you can start acting in faith and see the improvements that will come. And like I said, it may not be immediate, but it's an incremental process, step by step, just like anything in life. And it may not be overnight, and it is hard, but when you start doing this as a point of habit, it will become easier. We're guarding our thoughts, we're getting into positive stuff, we've judged our beliefs, we're getting into that stuff, and now it's easier to act in faith on those beliefs. What'll happen? You'll talk to people that you wouldn't talk to before. You'll smile at somebody. Maybe if you're single, you'll smile at that pretty guy or girl and start up a conversation. And you'll start meeting new people. You'll start, you'll act in faith because you will believe that God wants you to do well. You'll believe that God loves you, and you'll spread that, and you'll smile, and you'll notice the good things in life. All right, so that's all I have to say about that for now. Thank you for your time, and I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much.